Hi, my name is Jessica Alexandria, and welcome back to AMG Let's Chat, a podcast where we talk about autism, movies, and of course, gay things. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to let you guys know this episode is going to talk about a difficult topic. So while you're listening, make sure you sit back, relax, have a snack and a drink, and try not to start a angry debate of hate in the comments section. I mean that in the nicest way possible. Please don't hate me. This episode, we will be discussing and going over the J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter issues. Now, I am not here to give biased opinions. Well, not biased opinions, but I'm here to give you guys my opinions. But I'm also here to give you all just the information without any biased sugarcoating of any of it. I'm also here for if you want to know what happened, but you don't feel like doing all the research yourself. I'm also here for if you want to know what happened because you want to get a taste of the tea, but you don't feel like doing all the digging and research yourself to find out what happened. I'm here. I got you. Don't worry. So, I guess we'll just get right on into it then. This whole situation started on June 6th, 2020, when J.K. Rowling tweeted on Twitter, "People who menstruate." I'm sure there used to be a word for those people. Someone help me out. Wimpound woman? J.K. Rowling got lots of hate and mean comments on her tweet. In return, she further voiced her opinion. At this point, she's just feeding the trolls. She probably liked all the attention she was getting out of it and therefore decided to create some more drama. She tweeted as followed, "If sex isn't real, there's no same-sex attraction. If sex isn't real, the lived reality of women globally is erased. I know and love trans people, but erasing the concept of sex removes the ability of many to meaningfully discuss their lives. It isn't hate to speak the truth. The idea that women like me, who have been empathetic to trans people for decades, feeling kinship because they are vulnerable in the same way as women, i.e. to male violence, quote-unquote hate trans people because they think sex is real and has lived consequences, is nonsense. I respect every trans person's right to live any way that feels authentic and comfortable to them. I would march with you if you were being discriminated against and on the bias of being trans. At the same time, my life has been shaped by being female. I do not believe it is hateful to say so." There's a lot to unpack with what she has just said, okay? Briefly, okay? Just let me finish before y'all start hating on me. Briefly, okay? She has a point. If sex and the concept of gender is completely erased, then the people who have fought so hard to change their sex or change their gender, all of that work is meaningless to them. For example, take it as you put your blood, sweat, and tears into climbing to the top of Mount Everest. But as soon as you get to the top, someone who has never even bothered to try climbing it completely flattens it. In that concept, I understand what she means. Beyond that, I don't agree with anything she's saying. My personal opinion, and this is just my personal opinion, you can take it or leave it. You can hate it or agree with it. Like it, dislike it. I really don't give a crap. Sex and gender are two different things. Your sex is your genitalia. It is whether you have a vagina or a penis. These are medical things that doctors need to know in order to properly treat you. If necessary, gender is a sliding scale that anyone can fall on, anywhere on that scale. Gender and sex are two different things. Okay? That's my opinion. Like I said, you can take it or leave it. On June 10th, 2020, so 4 days later, J.K. Rowling published a lengthy post on her website and sent out a tweet that read "Turf Wars." TERF, for those of you who don't know, is an acronym that stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist. She wrote, "This isn't an easy piece to write for reasons that will shortly become clear, but I know it's time to explain myself on an issue surrounded by toxicity. I write this without any desire to add to that toxicity. For people who don't know, last December, I tweeted my support for Maya Forstater? I apologize if I botched that last name. A tax specialist who lost her job due to what was claimed to be quote-unquote transphobic tweets. She took her case to an employment tribunal, asking the judge to rule on whether a physical belief that sex is determined by biology is protected in law. Judge Taylor ruled that it was not." J.K. Rowling then explains how she became interested in the topic while doing research for a character in her novel. We will get into that more later. After these tweets went viral, people started to turn against the Harry Potter franchise. A story that people went to for comfort about a lonely boy who found his true home, made amazing friends, and went on spontaneous adventures. Most of the Harry Potter fans were absolutely heartbroken when they found out about J.K. Rowling's transphobic tweets. That story, because of who it was created by, was no longer a safe haven for them and only reminded them of the negative and cruel issues of the world. It really is a shame when you've learned to absolutely love something and then come to despise it because of who it was created by. In this world, and as a creator, specifically an author, it was a very hard lesson to learn, but I had to learn it, that you are allowed to like the things that people create, even if you don't like the person who created them. And that may sound weird, and it's like, but Jessica, why would you support someone that you don't like? Well, for many reasons. If that story brings you more comfort, then that person brings you hate. For example, I am pagan, okay? I do not hide that. And I don't always agree with all of the beliefs of Christians. And my favorite author, I recently found out that she is severely Christian. How did I find this out? She put God in all of her book acknowledgments. I mean, a page thanking God. And to me, as a pagan, I mean, you can do what you like. It's your opinion. It's your life. Do what you want. You can believe whatever the hell you want to believe. But for me, as a pagan, that just kind of gave me the ick. But that's not going to stop me from loving her books. You know what I mean? I know that this is completely different from what's going on with J.K. Rowling. I'm just trying to relate with something. I'm trying to put myself in other people's shoes here. Please bear with me. Now, of course, many people, including celebrities, saw J.K. Rowling's tweets and were urged to reply with their own opinions. Paris Lee tweeted in reply, "There's no evidence that me being me is causing any problems for any of the women I have met. If there are ever any issues between women and trans women, they should be dealt with sensitively and sensibly on a case-by-case basis. Please, for the love of God, leave us alone." Mallory Rubin tweeted, "Harry Potter is about the magic of love, acceptance, belonging, the power of courage, the impact of hope. Trying to take those things away from people is a terrible tragedy. Trans women are women." Tess Fowler tweeted, "Do not read J.K. Rowling's transphobia manifesto. I already did it for you. Every line is misinformation, fear-mongering, misgendering, othering, ignorance, far-right language / dog whistles, and pure hate. It is not just ugly, this is hate. Don't ingest this BS, I beg of you." And dozens Dozens of other people tweeted similar replies. It stirred up a lot. And I think the bad thing is that J.K. Rowling just keeps feeding it. Is she trying to defend herself? Yes, but in a way that she's just feeding the trolls. It's one of those things where J.K. Rowling said something that offended some people. They retaliated. She retaliated back, probably because she liked the attention. It was just it just snowballed out of control. Retaliation to retaliation. You know, they say in the world of celebrities, there is no such thing as bad publicity. Some of the Harry Potter actors were forced to speak up on Twitter about some of J.K. Rowling's transphobic tweets. They were being called out by fans to give their opinions. Emma Watson posted, "Trans people are who they say they are and deserve to go about their lives without being questioned or being told they aren't who they say they are. I want my transgender followers to know that I, and so many other people around the world, see you, respect you, and love you for who you are." Rupert Grint posted, "I firmly stand with the trans community and echo the sentiments expressed by many of my peers. Trans women are women. Trans men are men. We should all be entitled to live and love without judgment." Preach! Bonnie Wright also made a tweet in support of transgender people around the world. Eddie Redmayne, who played the main character in Fantastic Beasts and who played a transgender woman in The Danish Girl, tweeted the following: "Respect for transgender people remains a cultural imperative, and over the years I've been trying to constantly educate myself. This is an ongoing process. As someone who has worked with both J.K. Rowling and members of the trans community, I wanted to make it absolutely clear where I stand. I disagree with Joe's comments. Trans women are women, trans men are men, and non-binary identities are valid. I would never want to speak on behalf of the community, but I do know that my dear transgender friends and colleagues are tired of this constant questioning of their identities, which all too often result in violence and abuse. They simply want to live their lives peacefully, and it's time to let them do so." I agree. I actually brought this up in one of my later episodes when we were discussing movies that were banned for promoting homosexuality. And The Danish Girl did come up, and I promised that we would get into it in a future episode, and here it is. That actor playing the character that he did in The Danish Girl made a lot of people angry. Probably the same people who were the first ones to get angry at J.K. Rowling. I don't mean that in any rude way. I don't mean to bring up any hate. It's just my opinion. I am not saying that their actions were okay, because anyone who disagrees with trans people is wrong. It's not their life. Is their life so boring that they have to go and meddle in someone else's? That's not okay. Apparently, even Warner Bros., the production company that produced Harry Potter, made a statement against J.K. Rowling. Sadly, I couldn't find what they had tweeted online, as it was later deleted. But then, J.K. Rowling publicly announced that she knew her views on transgender issues would make, quote-unquote, many folks deeply unhappy. In 2022, competitive Quidditch, named for and modeled on the sport in the novels, changed its name to Quadball. So they changed the name so they wouldn't be in support of her comments. There were two reasons for the name change. Per the governing bodies, the sport wanted to separate itself from Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling and her anti-transphobic remarks. Also, neither organization owned the Quidditch trademark. So they were heading that way. Anyway, it would have been considered copyright whether they had changed it or not, but all of J.K. Rowling's comments got just kind of pushed that decision over the edge. And just when you didn't think any more celebrities could be wrapped up in this case, somehow they managed to get Stephen King involved. How, you may ask? J.K. Rowling once again tweeted, "I've always revered at Stephen King, but today my love reached, maybe not Annie Weich's level, but new heights. It's so much easier for men to ignore women's concerns or belittle them, but I will never forget the men who stood up when they didn't need to. Thank you, Stephen." And Stephen King replied to her tweet with one simple statement: "Trans women are women." And he left it at that. And of course, after J.K. Rowling saw his response, she deleted her original post, deleting Stephen King's comment. Stephen King revealed in an interview almost a year later that after J.K. Rowling deleted her tweet, she also blocked him on Twitter. Stephen King said in that interview, "Here's the thing, she's welcome to her opinion. I just felt that her belief was, in my opinion, wrong. We have differing opinions. That's life." And that is very much my opinion. We are people. We are allowed to have differing opinions, even if I think your opinion's wrong and even if you think my opinion's wrong. That's life. There's no reason to sit here and destroy fandoms about it. Just move on. It's like this happened in 2020 and people thought it was earth-shattering, and already people are starting to forget it's happened. It was a big deal then, and now people are remembering how much they love the Harry Potter fandom and are letting it wash on by, just like any other dispute, celebrity dispute that has happened. It has had its time, and now it's time for it to move on. Even better, in July 2020, J.K. Rowling went on another rant on Twitter, this time about antidepressants. J.K. Rowling tweeted, "I've ignored fake tweets attributed to me and DM'd wildly. I've ignored porn tweeted at children on a thread about their art. I've ignored death and rape threats. I'm not going to ignore this. When you lie about what I believe about mental health medication and when you misrepresent the views of a trans woman for whom I feel nothing but admiration and solidarity, you cross a line. Many health professionals are concerned that young people struggling with their mental health are being shunned towards hormones and surgery when this may not be in their best interest. Many, myself included, believe we are watching a new kind of conversion therapy for young gay people who are being set on a lifelong path of medication that may result in the loss of their fertility and/or full sexual function." I know that there's going to be a lot of different opinions on what was just said. She shouldn't have got murder and rape threats out of the comments that she made. That's not okay. The people who sent those threats to her, at this point, have stooped just as low, if not lower, than she has. J.K. Rowling never made any threats of hurting people. She never wished death or hurt or abuse upon trans people, but in return, all of that is being rained down on her. There were also claims that some people had gotten her home address and started sending her threatening letters. This situation was blown out of proportion. It was a celebrity making a stupid comment online. Yes, it hurt people, but do people really think that losing their shit at J.K. Rowling online will fix the situation? Like, do they think that that will make anything better? Other than making them feel better in the moment? Like, try going and screaming in your pillow first. Try writing an angry letter and burning it. Like, this whole situation was so blown out of proportion. It got other celebrities involved. Not to mention, it created such a large divide in the actor world. It was, you agreed with J.K. Rowling and you were transphobic and it almost ended your career because of it. Or you had to make a public statement that you were against her and you were a saint just for being associated with J.K. Rowling or the Harry Potter franchise? I don't even know anymore. Like, J.K. Rowling added to her tweet, "The long-term health risks of cross-sex hormones have now been tracked over a lengthy period. These side effects are often minimized or denied by trans activists. None of that may trouble you or disturb your belief in your own righteousness, but if so, I can't pretend I care much about your bad opinion of me." So, J.K. Rowling is going on about how antidepressants are overprescribed to teenagers and there have been serious consequences to their health. She is saying the exact same thing about hormone treatment, about how it damages your body and has bad long-term effects. She also states that she's frustrated that trans people don't care about their health by taking them. Yes, it can be extremely, extremely dangerous changing from the sex that you were born. Taking hormone treatments, getting surgeries. There's risk with any surgery. There's risk taking any medication. It's hard, it's dangerous. But if you stay in a body that is not yours, there's the risk of you going through all the therapy to become who you want to be. But then there's also the risk about what will happen if you stay unhappy in the body that you were born in. This is why the numbers of suicide are going up. You have to pick and choose what battles you are going to fight. It's your life, it's your body. Do whatever the hell you want. It's your choices and your ethics. Okay? Don't let anyone else tell you any different. I personally believe that you should wait until your body and your brain has stopped growing and stopped developing before you make any serious life changes like starting hormone treatment or doing any surgeries. I'm not going to get into that, but that is just my opinion because it is less tolling on the body. But that being said again, if that is the only thing stopping your child from killing themselves, then let them do it. Hate bursted out by her fans once again when later that year J.K. Rowling released a book called Troubled Blood about a cis male who dresses as a woman to kill cis women. A news outlet did a review on the book and stated, "Book whose morals seem to be never trust a man in a dress." J.K. Rowling's book soon started trending, but not for good reasons. Someone on Twitter tweeted, "She's convinced she is a martyr and this is her suicide mission." Many people made tweets saying things like, "R.I.P. J.K. Rowling, she isn't dead, but she just killed her own career." Yeah, that was a bad move on her part. But you know she only did it because she's feeding into the drama. That's the only reason celebrities do anything these days, is because it gets their names into the search engines. Even if you're watching their videos because you hate them and you want to see what they're doing out of hate, you're still upping their views and giving them more money. Celebrities don't care whether you like them or not. For the most part, I'm not saying all celebrities are like this, but the majority of celebrities, there's no such thing as bad publicity. As long as you're talking about them, their name still gets around. Robbie Coltrane defended J.K. Rowling. He said in an interview, "I don't think what she said was offensive. Really, I don't know why, but there's a whole Twitter generation of people who hang around waiting to be offended." Now that I agree with. There's a whole generation of people who are just online constantly, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Tumblr, TikTok, YouTube, like just everywhere. Twitter is really bad for it. But no matter where you are online, there's always just going to be people who have no life and who live off the drama of starting arguments with random people online. Why? Probably because it makes them feel better. And here we go talking about that divide I mentioned earlier. Many other celebrities also defended J.K. Rowling and stood by her side. In January 2021, rumors started to go around about a new Harry Potter TV series. Some people were not happy. Many people made tweets complaining about how people are against J.K. Rowling yet are still supporting the Harry Potter franchise. The tweeters claim you shouldn't buy any Harry Potter merchandise because it's only giving J.K. Rowling more money that she doesn't deserve. Already gotten into this, I won't get into it again, don't worry. J.K. Rowling started to get death threats on social media and letters sent directly to her home address. Hundreds of trans activists have threatened to beat me, rape me, assault me, assassinate me, and bomb me, J.K. Rowling tweeted. Once again, that is not okay. She is just a stupid person with stupid opinions that's made stupid decisions, just like everyone else in this world, okay? Fire rained down on comedian Dave Chappelle for defending J.K. Rowling on his Netflix special and made jokes about transgender people. That was his own fault, okay? Whatever happens to him, he made his bed, he has to lie in it now. Now this I think is hilarious. For Harry Potter's 20th anniversary special on HBO Max, J.K. Rowling didn't appear. In an interview, she says that she was invited but chose not to attend, but the rest of the cast say that they chose not to send her an invitation. In August 2022, J.K. Rowling published a book called The Ink Black Heart, which was published under a pen name. The book is over 1,000 pages long and is a story about a YouTuber who makes animations / cartoons, and people accuse their work of being racist and transphobic. The main character in them is threatened with death and rape. Spoilers to the book coming up if you haven't read it yet. They are then stabbed to death in a cemetery. Once again, she is just feeding into the drama. It's not going to stop until she stops. It's just snowballing. It's just snowballing at this point. J.K. Rowling claims that the first draft of this book was written before all of her hate online and that it has nothing to do with her opinions. We all know that that wasn't true. Okay, even if that is true, why would she still choose to publish it? Me personally, I've never read any of the Harry Potter books. I've never read any of J.K. Rowling's work. Do I want to after this? No. Am I still going to support Harry Potter? Yeah, because I like Harry Potter. And I'm not going to stop liking something just because a person made some poor choices online. They shared their opinions that most of the world doesn't agree with. Okay. Tom Felton said in an interview, "I'm pro-human rights across the board." What people don't realize is that J.K. Rowling may have written the Harry Potter books, but she was hardly ever on set for the movies. I only saw her once or twice. Which you would think, after writing such a big, intense, popular book series, that you would want to help dictate the movie process. But no, apparently not. You know what that tells me? She didn't really care how the movies turned out. She was in it for the money. She didn't see that series as her baby. If your baby was getting turned into a movie, you would want to be there to support it and help it, right? You'd want to hold its hand. I mean, I would. Helena Bonham Carter also made a tweet defending J.K. Rowling. "It's horrendous and a load of bullocks. You are entitled to your own opinion, and so is she, especially if she's suffered from abuse." In a nutshell, that's what she said. And once again, here comes that divide I was talking about earlier. Everyone can have their own opinions, but it created such a big divide. If you refuse to publicly speak out against J.K. Rowling, you were transphobic. the position that all of these fans were putting all of these other actors in is not okay. They were looping all of these actors into this drama that they had no business to be in the first place. As all of you may know, a Harry Potter game has recently been released called Hogwarts Legacy. I personally am currently saving up to get this game. I think it looks like a blast and I can't wait to play it. But a lot of people are mad. First of all, because it is Harry Potter and is another stream of revenue for J.K. Rowling. And second of all, because there is a suggested, not confirmed, but a suggested trans character. Okay? Suggested. And of course, they had to call Warner Brothers into the equation as they were a part of the franchise and a part of the video game. They got hate and criticism for it, never spoke out against it, and after that, no one batted a second eye at them. So like I said, there was a lot to digest in this episode, and I apologize for that. But thankfully, the situation has mostly resolved itself, and there hasn't been any updates or any more big blows with J.K. Rowling, other than, of course, the odd complaint from the odd fan. Now I want to hear from you guys. Does knowing this make you look at Harry Potter any differently? If you loved this series, will you now feel guilty watching the movies? Or the next time you sit down to play a video game or you hear about it online? Do you agree with how this situation was handled? Do you feel it could have been handled better? Well, thank you for sticking with me for this brain-bending, information-heavy episode. And I hope that you guys come back for the next one, which I promise will be more fun and much more lighthearted. I will see you all next time. Bye!